of what we went over back on Tuesday, December the 8th, where I showed you guys how to make that poster for your final 9 weeks project. Uh, what we're going to go and start off with, I'm going to go through this a little bit faster than I normally do, as you see that I'm already doing this. But in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and just choose some random photo that someone had submitted last week during our negative space photos. Let's go ahead and go with, I kind of want to know what we're going to sell. So let me just make sure that I get something that is noticeable. Let's go with the Coke bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the file inside here. And as you notice, we're doing the square poster. So obviously when you do this, just make sure you do a different one for the vertical and for the horizontal one. But for this one, of course, we do have the square one. When we do this one, if you notice, it's kind of like on its side. So in order to rotate it, you click on this right here. You just drag it over to one of the sides until you have it the correct way. You want to make sure that it's at increments of 90 so that it's exactly sideways. For example, right here, it's at negative 90, all right? And that's where you have it over here on the right-hand side. All right, so now that we have that, we're going to add our text. And if you notice what I just did, we had it clicked here, but if I click on the gray area, it kind of resets the whole thing. So now I'm going to go to add text, add your text, and then we're going to go ahead and do one of the 4 things. If you remember, we have 4 things that you need to type inside there. First is going to be the title of the product, which in this case is going to be a Coca-Cola bottle. So I'm going to place that for right now. Just going to leave it up here because I know it's going to go somewhere on the top. Okay, again, to add and use text, I'm going to click on the gray area, add text. Next is going to be the price. So let's just say that this is $2. Next is going to be, where can you buy this? So again, I'm going to click on the gray area, add text, add your text. And then this one is going to say, let's say, corner stores. And then last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and put some kind of hook. Okay. And so let's just say, let's just make up something. It will make you look younger. Okay. Just make up something. We're not really making advertisements for Coke, so we're just going to leave this right here. Now, of course, now what we need to do is resize them and do all this kind of stuff. But if you remember, one of the things was that we can only have no more than 2 fonts. As of right now, we have 1 font, and they're all Montserrat. If you notice right there, they're all the same font. Okay, so what I want to do is maybe I might want to change the top one because, it's going to be the title, so it might be, something a little bit different. So let's go ahead and let's click on that. Click over here on the fonts. And let's change it up to something else that might look kind of nice. Why not? No. How about quicksand? No. Kind of like deciding on this on the fly. No, not a big fan of that one either. So I know, oh, there you go. How about this one? That looks pretty good. So I'm going to do that. And then the second thing you might remember is that we can only choose 2 different colors. So what I want to do is I want to choose the color of the red for the Coke bottle, for the Coke label, and then whatever this green bluish is over here as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose 2 colors. And so in order to do that, I'm going to click on the text and I'm going to go ahead and change this one right here. All right, now remember, you can go ahead and you can choose any color in here, or you can get one of the suggested ones. But what I want to do is I'm going to click on the eyedropper, and then I'm going to go ahead and select this right there. So that's going to turn it red. Okay, so now for the outside color, the effects color, I want to change it to this background right here, which it actually gives us kind of it right here. But let's click on there so we can kind of see it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's do that one. Now the reason why you can't see this one though, actually I'm not a big fan of that. Let's go with this color. So now, but the reason why I can't see that is because my shape is not checked. And so once it's checked, then it will give me that background color. Okay, so let's change that back. Actually, kind of like that old color. But remember, now I can only stick with these 2 colors. White and black doesn't count, but these 2 colors have to be my main colors now. However, I don't like that circle. It's way too large to look at. So why don't we choose something different that's a little bit smaller? All right, that's actually kind of cool. But let's see what happens when we fill it in. Yeah, let's go with that one. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do this one. Looks pretty nice. Now I want to move the Coke bottle over a little bit. All right. And so next I'm going to go ahead and mess with this one, which I feel that the $2, I do want to make it large, but not this large. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. If you notice those little dotted lines, they kind of like add up, line up right there in the middle. And so same thing, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Let's change the text color. Let's inverse this and let's go with this color right. Actually, it's not the color. So let's see. There we go. And then as for the outside, I'm going to leave that one red. Okay, same thing. The reason why it's not showing up is because we don't have a shape, but we can also add a shadow or an outline. I kind of like that shadow, so let's just leave it like that. And then finally, we know, I'm sorry, not finally, but next is going to be, of course, the corner store thing. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this in. Let's drag this over to the middle. All right, same thing. So, oh, one thing I forgot to do is change this font. I do like the Montserrat font on this one, but let's try some other ones. Um, See if we might like one of them that might be different. I know I didn't like it earlier, but I do like that one for this one. But now I can only choose lobster and quicksand. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one either lobster or quicksand, which in this case I'm going to make it the quicksand one. They're in alphabetical order, so there's the quicksand one. And then, like I said, we do need to change this color. So let's actually go with this one with red. No, that's going to stand out a lot better. And then the outside color, let's go with red. On this one, let's see what happens if we add an outline. So the shadow kind of like moves it over to the right-hand side, whereas the outline kind of goes around the whole thing right there, and I can make it thicker if I want. All right, or I can only make it an outline just like that. But in this case, I'm going to leave it like, let's go back to the shadow. I like the shadow one more. This one will let you change the angle of it. Okay, you kind of notice it's going around it, but I'm going to leave it where it is. And then this will be how far away it is. And so let's move it a little bit further out. And so there's that one. And then as for the hook, I'm going to change this one back to the lobster one that we have up there. And then finally, let's just change up the color on this one. Let's definitely make this one red because we have not done a red one yet. And then let's change the outside color to that bluish kind of color. But then for the shape, let's go ahead and let's make some kind of effect. So why don't we go with, I saw one with quotation marks that I thought was kind of cool. No, not really. That one's not too bad. No, that one's too much. And we'll go ahead and we'll settle on one right now. All right, so how about that one? That one looks kind of cool. But I don't want to make it as large because it takes away from the Coca-Cola bottle thing. So let's even make this just like one line. And then we'll go ahead and I'll move it up. You don't want to make them too spread apart. Okay. And so there we go. So now we have it. The last thing that I just want to talk to you guys about would be if you want to change up the background. So if I click on the photo, and then if I click on filters, you can go ahead and you could change it up. Don't make it black and white, but you might want to change it up to something else. You see there now, it kind of matches a lot more with like the color. Colorize is kind of cool because you color the whole thing, but in this case, I don't really want to do that. So I think I'm going to go with the contrast. Yeah, let's go with the contrast. You can also, if you need to, click on, for example, the enhancements that are right here at the bottom. So let's say that you want to make it brighter, you can do that. If you want to change the highlights or shadows, like what we've kind of done already, you should already know about that from Pixlr. And then even if you want to add a blur, you can do that too. But in this case, we're not going to add a blur. Okay. Once you guys have it done, you just press download, save it as a JPEG like you normally do. All right. Once it pops up down here, you add it to your DDMP folder like you guys also normally do. And that's how you complete this assignment.